Hi, my name is Charles MALKI, a biologist and plant expert with Irrigation, where we grow cool plants, and this is now part 3 of 4 when it comes to tree care. We just talked about at the beginning the importance of whitewashing. We just went over the products Irrigation Whitewash, the Irrigation 3-in-1 product, the Irrigation ready-to-use spray. We talked about organic fertilizers. We use compost as well by integrating about 50% compost to the native soil, and we've also just added a layer of food to the surface soil. Now part 3 is talking about irrigation and watering and basically caring for your trees by water. And if you take a look at the subject line, when it talks about water, we use the word mimic rain. When you're watering your plants, think about mimicking rain. What would happen naturally if these trees were out and getting water naturally and it was raining upon them? This system over here is one that I've got, which is a bubbler, which is pretty much spraying this zone. If the soil was dense enough, and you know, as you can see, and as I've been showing you over and over again, I'm going to try to grab a couple of these guys here. This one's trying to get away. But you can see there's a lot of life here in the soil, but indicated by these earthworms. Something else that we visited, that we had visiting this corner of the garden, is we've had gophers, we've had moles, we've had voles, we've had all these underground critters which basically create tunnels. And the risk with that is it could be diverting the water that's in this region and then basically taking the water to somewhere else or some other part of the garden, or basically out to the gutters. And maybe that water is not making contact at all with the roots, or very minimal contact with the roots. The goal with this system is to basically make sure that within a matter of minutes, hopefully within 5 minutes, it's basically going to create a ring of water around the tree. We've created this beautiful ring that, as you can see, we've been watering this now for at least a few minutes before we started the video, and now we've only watered this small section of the tree. If this tree were to survive on these conditions, it could probably make it. Most of its roots would shift to this side of the tree to capitalize on not just the water, but also all of the soil biology that is in this area to basically help support and maintain the health and the integrity and the quality of the tree. But this whole backside of the plant is dry, and that's why it's important to basically come back into your garden, unless you have a system like we're going to be visiting this next weekend, a grower who's got basically what I like to call the Moroccan Garden of Eden. I did one video, but we're going to do a more in-depth video this upcoming weekend. But basically around his citrus trees, what he's done is he installed 3 of these basically in triangular shape to basically water the 3 corners of the plant. The water never hits the tree trunk because you wouldn't want to, you wouldn't want a phenomenon known as stem rot to happen to your trees. So you keep the water off the tree trunk. But what he's done is he created a triangular shaped watering system to basically water that entire root zone more thoroughly. Unfortunately, what I got to do in my garden is, one, either install that triangular shaped watering system. Even if I did 2, that would be maybe more beneficial, as it'd be watering both sides. But the third way is just come out with your hose at least every other week and soak the tree. Don't just soak the root zone area, which is like so. I'm not going to turn off the water so I can do this more clearly. Let me turn off the sprinkler so I can show you how we're going to water the plant using just the hose. So we just turned off the sprinklers. That just went out right now, and now I've got more pressure in my hose, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to soak the entire root zone, and I'm going to keep on watering and watering until this entire area is soaked. And the goal is to allow this area to soak, especially upon initial installation, for several minutes. You're just going to want to keep on watering it. What I also said that we're going to do in part 2 is we're going to come with our fingers as well, and we're going to now try to collapse some of those air pockets that may exist around the container, or you know, where it was originally the container, so where those roots are, to basically eliminate the risk of any air pockets that could be drying out those roots. So we're going to try to push the soil into it. We're not pressing that hard because we don't want to compact the soil either. And then with the soil that we've displaced, I'm just going to grab some more soil from around the ring, and we're just going to backfill it like so. And then we're just going to continue watering. And you can see that the water is now all around the tree, but we're going to want it to stay like this for at least 10 minutes on this initial installation. And you're going to want to make sure you thoroughly water your trees in the first month by making sure you're watering it on average every 2 to 3 days as the tree gets established in its new growing zone. When it comes to watering your trees in the summer, on average you're going to want to make sure you deep soak your trees on average once a week or up to 4 times per month. In the spring, it can back off to as few as once every other week. Just do a really good soak about every other week in spring, and the spring weather and climate should be very similar to fall, at least here in Los Angeles, California. So what you're going to do is you're going to, on average, soak your trees twice a month. So every other week, you're going to do a good soak. You know, as you can see here, the water is now pooled around the root zone, and it's staying here. We're going to now, visit it in the next 5-10 minutes. If that water's gone, we're going to add some more water to make sure that water soaks that entire root ball and that entire root zone and gets down there. And what it'll do is it'll also help support that life that's underneath the root ball. It's going to help aerate as the worms move. It's going to create more air pockets for those roots to follow, and it's going to create a very healthy and vigorous hostile avocado tree right here in this growing zone. I hope you've found this educational moment by Ivory Organics informative and educational, and if so, be sure to like it. Most importantly, by subscribing below, you'll be connected to this and all of our other educational gardening videos. And let me just share with you the topics that we've done. Over here, we've just part 1 was why whitewash your trees, branches, and leaves. A review of the Ivory Organics products. We talked about soil preparation. A healthy organic soil equals maximum healthy and productive trees. We just talked about irrigation, and mimicking rain is best. And part 4 is compost piles between trees and mulch will feed the underground jungle. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. And in the meantime, I'm just going to continue watering this tree.